Hello, in this video we are going to review a few things that probably will help you how to build your project, your final project. It seems that there has been some challenge on how to use the attributes and sequences and conveyors. So I'm going to explain a little bit about that. So let's start with creating the model, and we're going to be making an assignment, and then when we make the assignment we can create actually attributes. One of those attributes would be, for instance, let's say I create an attribute that its name process time. Well, I would use process time A, and I would assign a value. Let's say it's 150 seconds. I just don't have the seconds, but I enter 150, and I said okay, and then I go to create a second one that it's, in this case, process time B, and let's say that this, in this case, is 200 seconds. Okay, now let's say that we have a second entity type. This is entity type 2, and we are going to assign to this entity exactly the same name of the attribute, but with different values. So we had, now once we enter it, now you don't need to type it again. You can find it here as process time A, and forgot to give it a value. Let's say that this one is 80 seconds, and let's have an attribute, and now it's process time B. Now let's say this one is 250 seconds. So now we have process time A and B in both entity type 1 and 2. Those have different values. Let's also create a sequence, and the first sequence is going to, from station 1. Well, let's first create the stations. That would be better. So let's see. We're going to declare the current station, station 1, and we just connect this. And then we're going to leave the station. We're going to leave the station, and we're going to travel to another station. We're going to, let's see, we're going to enter station. And we're going to have two stations to enter. One associated with machine A and the other associated with machine B. We have that. And then we're going to leave that station We make the connections. And we're going to have another final station, which is just going to be used for for the dispose. Okay. All right. Now we can set up the sequences. And the first sequence we're going to visit after we visit station 1. We're going to visit enter 1. Enter 1 station. And then we're going to see enter 2 station. And then we're going to see enter 3 station. Okay, very good. So this first sequence goes to the first one, then the second, and then out. The next sequence 2 is going to be different because it's going to go first to enter 2 station, then to enter 1 station, and then it's going out. Okay. Now what we have here in the process, we have sysdelay release, and we add our resource 1, and in the time, let's say that I just want a constant value or an expression, and the expression is going to be not any one of these, but I can type in process time A. So what this does, it reads the attribute that you designed previously, and that way you don't have to use ifs. So you have that. We repeat the process here. We're going to be using sysdelay release for resource 2. It's a different resource, machine B. Okay. And again, I can use either constant or expression. I prefer to go with expression. And I do process time B. So now the entities carry its own process time, and we don't have to worry about what the process is or make very complicated movements. In the leaves, we need to make sure that the connect is root, and the station type is by sequence, so we don't have each one of them will be transported or will be moved or decided where to go by the sequence. There you go. And I think I'm ready to go. Let's try. Okay, I made a mistake. Let's find the error. Runtimer was detected. Root sequence number 0 is not valid. Okay, I need to specify the sequences. I didn't do that. So although the error is being marked here, the problem is that the entity has not been assigned the sequence. So I need to go back here. Well, I need to stop the run. Go back to the assignment. Make sure that I have a sequence. Sequences are special attributes predefined. So entity sequence, and the value is the first sequence for the first entity. For the second entity, we're going to use attribute entity sequence, and it's going to be the second sequence. Okay, we run it, and there it is. Now this may crash because of the times I set up. I didn't change the units. The process time units should be, I said, was seconds, so that needs to be updated here, not in the attributes but directly in the process. And the time between arrivals is in hours, so now we're not even gonna see a queue. The product flows, and the system works with the process times separately being selected by entity. That's one way of doing it, but there is another way of doing it. So let me show you. Instead of using two attributes, we're only going to use one attribute. So here I am going to delete that and that. I only keep the sequence, not the assignment of the attributes. I delete this and that. I keep the sequence, but not the process times. And what I'm going to do is, I still need to make the assignment of the process times, right? But the way that I can do that is in the sequence. Here in the sequence, you have the alternative to make assignments. And the assignment will allow you to make an assignment to an attribute. The attribute could be, now I can use the same names that I used before, but I am just going to use a different name. Let me call it proc time 1, 2, 3, right? Just to have a different name. And the value is the proc time at the first step. That is when it's visiting the first station. And let's say that, I don't remember what it was before, it doesn't matter, it's 150 seconds. And when it's visiting, no, this is not needed. Okay, and now that's when I'm visiting the first station. Now you see the assignment is one row. And then when I'm visiting the second station, that same attribute, proc time, will have a different value, let's say 100. So now, using the same attribute, I can control the process time in both stations because it's going to be updated as it travels through the sequence. I need to do the same for the other sequence, in which the assignment of the attribute proc time is going to have a different value, let's say 80. And that's the one row I need. And in the second station to be visited, the value of proc time is going to be a different number. Okay, so now I have the sequences. As I go traveling through the sequences, the value of the process time changes. Now I need to use that attribute here. There is no process time anymore. What we have is proc time, right? Proc time 1, 2, 3, and I think that's the expression I use. Proc time 1, 2, 3. All right. So now it's going to read the value of proc time, and I don't even need. Still need the assignment here for the sequence, but within the sequence I have the assignments, as you can see here at the bottom, for the assignments. And no, not there. Here in the sequence, in the rows. There you go. I have that. That's where I have it. Okay. Sorry if that was confusing. Now I should be able to run it, and it runs with different process times for each one of the entities. Okay. I'm going to stop this one here, and I will continue with more key features that you're going to need in another video.